الله 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 لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله رب العالمين حمد الشاكرين وأفضل الصلاة وأكمل السلام على سيد المرسلين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. In the previous lesson, we continued our discussion on the Jumla Ismiya. But just to recapitulate the previous lesson. What's funny? A recap. Okay, go on. The previous lesson, what did we cover? What did we cover in the previous lesson as a recap before moving on? We covered that the Jumla Ismiya has two components, which are the Mubtada and Khabar. Both the Mubtada and Khabar will always be in which state? The Marfu' state. Generally speaking, the Mubtada will be a Ma'rifah and the Khabar will be a Nakira. There are exceptions to this where a Nakira can also be a Mubtada. However, inshaAllah ta'ala, we will cover these things much later in the lessons. Also, we covered that if a Ma'rifah occurs first and then a Nakira occurs, the Tarkeeb will be of Mubtada and Khabar. And if a Ma'rifah occurs after a Ma'rifah or a Nakira occur after a Nakira, then the Tarkeeb will be of? And can one Mawsoof have more than one Sifa? Yes. We also covered that if a Nakira comes first and then a Ma'rifah, so these rules we've covered a number of times, that if a Ma'rifah comes first and then Nakira is Mubtada and Khabar. However, if it's the opposite way round, the Nakira comes first and then the Ma'rifah, the Tarkeeb will be of Mudaf and Mudaf ilay, the Tarkeeb will be of Idafa. We also learnt that the Ism Fa'il, we learnt that the Ism Fa'il has a Fa'il within it. The Ism Fa'il has a likewise for the Ism Tafdeel and likewise for the Asma' Mushtaqat. How about the Ism Maf'ul? The Ism Maf'ul will have a Na'ibul Fa'il. The Ism Maf'ul will have? Okay. So we learned that the Ism Fa'il will have a Fa'il within it. The Ism Fa'il will have a? Likewise with the Ism Tafdeel and likewise with the Asma' Mushtaqat. And the Ism Maf'ul will have a Na'ibul Fa'il within it. Remember this, the Ism Fa'il will have a? The Ism Fa'il will have a? Fa'il. Na'ibul Fa'il lira? No, Fa'il. Who's saying this is you?
Not me.
The Ism Fa'il will have a? Fa'il within it. And the Ism Maf'ul will have a? Na'ibul Fa'il within it. And other than the Ism Maf'ul, the other Asma' Mushtaqat will have a Fa'il within them, which will return back to whatever is preceding it. So let's do an example of the Ism Fa'il before we continue. Just to recap slightly what we covered in the previous lesson. Today we will also implement the 12 types of the Ism Mu'arab. Remember this. I begin with Hafiz Qasim. Is Zayd Ma'rifa or Nakira? Ma'rifa. Which type of Ma'rifa? That's correct. It's an Ism Alam. Rajul, is it Ma'rifa or Nakira? Nakira. Why is it Nakira?
Because there's no signs of the Ma'rifah.
There's none of the 7 types of Ma'rifah which can be found within this word. So after a Ma'rifah, if a Nakira occurs, the Tarkeeb will be of Mubtada and Khabar. So we know this is mubtada. And this is khabar. Can you read these first two words, please?
Zaydun Rajulun.
Why have you read it Zaydun Rajulun?
Because Mubtada and Khabar is
The mubtada and khabar are always marfu. Correct. However, from the 12 types of ism ma'rab, which type is Zayd? From the 12 types of ism ma'rab, which type is Zayd? Anybody can answer. Sabil? Mufrad munsarif sahih. This was the first type of the ism ma'rab we covered. What is a mufrad munsarif sahih? A mufrad munsarif sahih is such a word which is singular, mufrad, so it's not tathniya, no jam. Also, it is a munsarif word, meaning it's not a ghair munsarif. It can accept all types of i'rab. It can accept all types of i'rab. And when we use the term sahih, what we mean by this is that it has no huruf illa present within it. It has no weak letters present within it. What are the weak letters? Alif, waw, or ya. What's here? So now this seems to be a problem. It has no harf illa in the ending. It has no harf illa in the ending. Is dal from the huruf illa? No, therefore it can still be considered sahih. Remember, sahih in sarf is different to sahih in nahv. Sahih in sarf is different to sahih in... What is sahih in sarf? Do you remember? There's no huruf illa within the huruf asliya. This was one of the things, one of the signs of a sahih in sarf. However, in nahv they focus on the last letter, right? So there is no harf illa in the end, therefore it is mufrad munsarif sahih. The mufrad munsarif sahih, in all three cases, the i'rab will be lafzi. The i'rab will be so ja'a zaydun, ja'a zaydun, darabtu zaydan, marartu bi zaydin. So in each type the i'rab will be lafzi, meaning it will be apparent. If it's mansoob, it will be mansoob lafzan, darabtu zaydan. If it's marfu, it will be marfu lafzan, ja'a zaydun. If it's majroor, it will be majroor lafzan, marartu bi raju, marartu bi zaydin, I passed by Zayd. So in all three states, the mufrad munsarif sahih, its i'rab will be lafzi. Its i'rab will be lafzi. Remember this. So from the 12 types, Zayd is mufrad munsarif sahih, and the i'rab is lafzi, marfu lafzan, marfu lafzan. Right, rajulun. From the 12 types of ism ma'rab, what is rajulun? Mufrad munsarif sahih. Same thing. Why? Does the term rajul, is it mufrad or is it tathniya or jam'? It's a singular word, right? Rajul, singular, so it's mufrad. Has it accepted tanween?
Yes. Yeah.
A ghair munsarif word can never accept tanween. Therefore, this is not ghair munsarif, this is munsarif. And does it have an harf illa in the end? It doesn't have a harf illa in the end. Therefore, it's also sahih. Mufrad munsarif sahih. So the i'rab here will be marfu lafzan. The mufrad munsarif sahih will always be lafzan. Right. So we have mubtada and we have khabar. The term rajul is nakira, as you've already expressed. The term alim is a ma'rifa or nakira? Nakira. Why? Anyone can answer, I guess. It has no sign or no type from the 7 types of ma'rifa present within it. There's something important to take into account. Alim, based on the last rule that we've learnt, is which sigha? Sigha wahid of the ism fa'il. Sigha wahid of the ism fa'il. So this is an ism fa'il. But before doing that, we have a nakira and another nakira. So we know the tarkeeb will be mawsoof and Sifa. However, before making alim a sifa, we must acknowledge that it is an ism fa'il, and that ism fa'il has a what inside it? A huwa damir inside it. Right, let's discuss the huwa damir first. Let's discuss the huwa damir. Which state will this damir be in? Marfu, correct. MashaAllah, Ghulam got it, correct. It will be in the marfu state. Why? Every file is marfu. Every file is, and this is the file of the ism file. Kullu fa'ilin marfun. So we know it's marfu. Was it inside it? Therefore, which is it? Which type is it? Muttasil or munfasil? Muttasil, because it was attached. Yes, separately it's a damir munfasil. Separately it's a, meaning a detached damir. However, because this was within the term alim, it's a damir muttasil in this case. Damir marfu' muttasil. Damir marfu' muttasil. And which state will it be in? Damair mabni or mu'arab? Damaira mabni. Damaira. Therefore, even though this is in the marfu state, is there wow? Is it hu? No, it's huwa. So why is it huwa? Because generally the sign of something being marfu is that it has a dhamma or dhammatain, but this has a fatha on it. This has a fatha on it. Because mabni words do not change. Mabni words do not change. This is mabni ala al-fath. This is mabni. So damir marfu muttasil, meaning it's an attached damir. And then also what? Mabni. What do we mean by mabni ala al-fath? It's fixed with fath. It will always remain huwa. Anyway, the damir, regardless of which state they're in, regardless of which, they will remain fixed. And the term huwa will always have a fath. The term huwa will always have a, so it will remain mabni alal fath. Do you understand that there are two types of damir? There's the damir muttasil, an attached damir, and then there's a damir munfasil, which is a detached damir. Alright? So in daraba, where's the damir? The huwa inside, so it's attached. So that is a damir muttasil. In daraba, the alif, so it's a damir muttasil is attached. Darabu, the waw, inshallah we'll cover these things when we cover the jumla fi'liya. Right, so the huwa, this is a huwa damir marfu' muttasil, which is its fa'il. Which is its? The file of the ism file. The ism file with its huwa damir marfu' muttasil fa'il will become, correct, I was going to try sifa, mashallah, you're correct. It will become a shib jumla ismiya. It will become a shib jumla ismiya. And then that shib jumla ismiya will become a sifa. And that's it. Sifa for what? The most. So where is this huwa damir returning to? It will return back to the mawsoof. It will return back to the mawsoof. So now we know that alim is a sifa. So what i'rab will be, Hafiz Qasim, what i'rab will be implemented here? Alim. Which alimun, correct. It will be marfu. Why have you read it alimun?
Because it's the tabi of the marfu.
It's a tabi. The sifa follows the i'rab of the mawsoof. Sifa follows the i'rab of the mawsoof. So mubtada khabar, and this you just leave separately as a sifa. We've explained that in previous lessons. The mubtada and khabar will then become a what? A jumla ismiya. A jumla, right. Before we carry on, I need you to translate it. Listen, Hafiz Saab, listen. Zaid is ma'rifa, Rajul is nakira. You've said in mubtada khabar. Which translation do we bring in between the mubtada and khabar? Is, in this case, is, yes. So Zaid is, and obviously a. Zaid is a man up until here. Zayd is a, but now we know we have a mawsoof and sifa. Both mawsoof and sifa are nakira. When they're both nakira, what do you translate first? The sifa. So how do you translate this? Scholarly man. Scholarly. So Zayd is a scholarly man. Is this khabariya or insha'iyya? Can you declare this sentence as being true or false? Yes. If he's an alim, we will say yes. If he is not, then we will say no. Khabariya. Are there any questions in relation to this example on the board? Before I actually go to questions, the term alim, which type is it from the 12 types of ism mu'rab? Think. Is it mufrad? Is it mufrad? Has he accepted tanween? So it's not ghayr munsarif. It's what? Munsarif. Does he have a harf illa in the end? So it's sahih. Mufrad munsarif. And in all three states it will be, the i'rab will be lafzi. The i'rab will be Ja'a alimun. Ra'aytu, I saw. Aliman is maf'ul there. So mansoob, lafzan. Marartu bi alimin, I passed by a scholar. Right? So you can read the i'rab on each type. Okay, so it's lafzan. Here it's marfu, lafzan. Marfu, lafzan, marfu, lafzan, marfu, lafzan. Any questions on this example? Can you get me water, please? Any questions? So this is clear, because if I point you out and you say I don't know, I won't be happy. Okay. And ism fa'il, there's other words as well, like the ism tafdeel and so on, ism maf'ul and so on, but right now our focus is the ism fa'il. The ism fa'il will always have a fa'il within it. The ism fa'il will always have a fa'il within it. Now, the ism fa'il is one word, isn't it? So is it really a jumla? It's not a jumla, it's one word. However, it resembles a jumla. How does it resemble a jumla? Because look, in one aspect, it has a fa'il, does it not? So isn't that two words? In reality it's one, because it's inside it. However, sometimes, the ism fa'il can be apparent as well. The ism fa'il can be, but we will cover that much later on. The fa'il of the ism fa'il can be apparent as well. We'll cover that later on, inshallah. But also, the fi'l, it gives raf to the fa'il and gives nasb, it gives nasb to the maf'ul. Ism fa'il works the same way. It can have a maf'ul and it can have a fa'il as well. It can have a fa'il and it can have a, so shib means resemble, so it resembles the jumla. It resembles the jumla, right? But it's ismiya in terms of it being an ism. It's shib jumla, ismiya. So, any more questions in relation to this example? No, because I'll move on then. Okay, we'll do another example. Right. I pick out Azim. Bakr, is it ma'rifa or nakira? Which type of ma'rifa is it? Ism alam. Walad, ma'rifa or nakira? Which type of nakira is it? There's no types of nakira, okay? So Bakr is ma'rifa, actually there is. There's nakira maksusa, nakira ghair maksusa. Walad, is it ma'rifa or nakira? Right. How do you know it's nakira? None of these 7 types, okay. If after a ma'rifa a nakira occurs, the tarkeeb will be mubtada and khabar, okay. The jumla ismiya should be cemented in everyone's minds now. So hopefully we can move on to the jumla fi'liya next lesson. Inshallah. Mubtada and khabar. Mubtada and khabar, so how will you read it? Bakrun waladun. Bakrun waladun. Why have you read them both marfu? Why? The mubtada and khabar are both in the marfu state, correct. From the 12 types of the ism mu'rab, which type is bakrun? Mufrad munsarif sahih, why? Okay, because it's mufrad, it's munsarif, and it has no harfillah in the end, like he said. Mufrad Munsarif Sahih. Waladun, from the 12 types of Ism Warab, which one is it? Exactly the same. Mufrad Munsarif Sahih. Now, translate up until there. Which word do we bring in between the Mubtada and Khabar to translate? Okay, in this case, is or are. Which word? Translate it. Walad means child. Bakar is a child. Bakar is a child. Or it can mean son as well. So Bakar is a son. Okay. Now after a nakira, what's occurred? An ism fa'il. And before going on to it being an ism fa'il is a nakira or marifa. So a nakira occurring after a nakira, the tarkeeb will be mawsoof and sifa. But you mentioned this is an ism fa'il. What does the ism fa'il have within it? Which fa'il does he have inside the siga wahid? Which huwa damir marfu muttasil, because inside it. Remember, there's two ways that something can be attached, okay? So, in daraba, for example, in daraba, the alif damir is attached to the fi'al, right? But it's apparent. It's in daraba, there's a huwa damir which is attached, but is it apparent? Is it hidden? So something can be attached, but it doesn't necessarily have to be apparent. So for example, is our arm attached to our body?
Yes.
Is it apparent?
Yes.
Is our heart attached to our body?
Yes.
Is it apparent? No. So something can be within you, yet be attached, not necessarily on the outside. Likewise here, the huwa was within the stomach of alim, meaning the siga wahid. Okay. So huwa damir marfu muttasil. You can also say mustatir, hidden. Okay, we'll cover that later. Huwa damir marfu muttasil. Huwa damir marfu muttasil and mabni ala al-fath, because it will always remain with a fath. Huwa. So the ism fa'il with the fa'il will become a shib jumla, not shiba. Not shiba, shib jumla ismiya. Okay. Then the shib jumla ismiya will become a sifa. Right. Another nakira has occurred. So after a nakira appearing after nakira, what will the tarkeeb be? Now we must question though. Will this be a sifa of the sifa or sifa of the mawsoof? Alright, an attribute is not an attribute. An attribute cannot be a quality of another attribute. We already covered that before. So we'll go back to the mawsoof. So this is sifa ula. This is sifa ula. Exactly. So salih is what? Ism fa'il within it a huwa fa'il damir marfu muttasil and then mabni ala al-fath. Then that will be a shib jumla ismiya. That shib jumla ismiya will then become sifa thaniya. Exactly the same thing here. Ism fa'il has within it huwa damir marfu muttasil. Then the ism fa'il with its fa'il will become shib jumla. Then that shib jumla will become so sifa thaniya. The reason why I'm not writing it all out is because of space. And this is sifa. Right. Now, how would you read the term alim? He's answering. Sorry? So how will you read it? Why alimun? Because it's a tabi of the mawsoof. So the sifa follows the mawsoof in terms of i'rab. How would you read this? This will also be read with dhammatain. This will also be read with dhammatain. The reason being is because all these are sifat of walad and they have to follow it in terms of i'rab. Now let's translate this. The term sha'ir means a poet, salih means pious or righteous, and ali means scholar. We've translated till here, Bakr is a child or Bakr is a son. Now let's do this. So, but what do we, if the mawsoof and sifa are both nakira, what do we translate first? The sifa. So, Bakr is a scholarly, righteous, poetic son. Or Bakr is a scholarly, righteous, poetic child. Or Bakr is a scholarly son or a scholarly child and a scholarly and a righteous son and a poetic son or child. You get the point? Do you understand why you read the i'rab like this? Yes? Because mubtada and khabar are always marfu and the sifat are always a tabi. They follow the mawsoof in terms of i'rab. It's matbu. These are all marfu lafdhan, as you can clearly see. They're all marfu lafdhan and they're all mufrad munsarif sahih. Right, now we can move on inshallah. Sorry, the mubtada and khabar will then become jumla ismiya khabariya. So can you see how we're gradually progressing, because we're opening up to things much more now slowly.
It would have been a lot better if you had a bit more space on the board, didn't it?
It would have been better if you had more space on the board. If you had a board your size, we would be perfectly fine.
Allahu Akbar. I'm actually
The size of your heart. This is what you refer to as a metaphor. I refer to the size of your heart. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Very generous, mashallah, very generous. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate his ranks. Bismillah ar-Rahman. Now, which rule did we cover? We covered that if after a nakira ma'rifa occurs, the tarkeeb would be of mudaf and mudaf ilayh. Now also bear in mind, when there is a damir attached to an ism, this principle you need to write down. When there is a damir attached to an ism, so a damir muttasil, when there is a damir attached to an ism, the tarkeeb will be of mudaf and mudaf ilayh as well. The tarkeeb would be of mudaf and mudaf ilayh. When there is a damir attached to an ism. I'm going to write an example on the board. Let's try to work this out together inshallah. Right, look at this. Sadiq, ha damir. Remember, even though a damir might have a dhamma on it, you will always refer to it as the ha damir. You will always refer to it as, you will never say hu damir. You will never say, likewise, like ba harf jar. We'll cover these things later on. But you will never say bi. You will never say harf jar bi. You will still say ba. You will still say. So the way they are pronounced in the huruf tahajji, that's how you'll pronounce them. So you will always refer to the damir as a ha damir. Never say hu damir, he damir. Right? Don't do that. Just always read it as it is individually. Alright? Now the term sadiq, the term which means friend, which means, is it ma'rifa or nakira? Alright, we have disputes amongst the people. So raise your hands. If it's the term sadiq on its own is ma'rifa, raise your hands. If the term sadiq is ma'rifa, raise your hand. Nobody wants to. The dispute has finished. If the term sadiq is nakira, raise your hand. MashaAllah. The term sadiq is, the term sadiq on its own, sadiqun, sadiq, it has none of the 7 types of ma'rifah present within it. Is it ism damir, al-ism al-mawsool, ism al-ishara, mu'arraf bil-lam, mu'arraf bil-idafa, no, mu'arraf bin-nida, ism al-alam, none of the things, right? So the term sadiq is nakira. What's attached to it? A ha damir. Which damir is attached to it? Ha damir. So now, according to the principle that we just studied, what will the tarkeeb be? And it would make sense anyway, because damir is also a type of ma'rifah. From the 7 types, is damir one of them? Yes. So you have a ma'rifah, and which type of sorry, you have a nakira, and then which type of ma'rifah is the a damir. A damir. So if after a nakira ma'rifah occurs, or if there's a damir muttasil attached, or if there's a damir attached to a nakira, the tarkeeb will be mudaf. And who does not understand this point? If you don't, it's perfectly fine. Ask me now. If you do not understand this point, ask me now.
That's me.
Yes, that's fine. What's the question?
How is that? How do you mean mudaf, like mudaf ilayh? Is it mudaf ilayh?
Okay.
Why?
It's just a separate principle which I taught you, that when a damir is attached to an ism, when a damir is attached to an, the tarkeeb will be mudaf and mudaf ilayh.
For the first word or for the word after?
No, so this will be mudaf and this will be the mudaf ilayh. Yeah. Or even if you reflect on the previous rule, if after a nakira a ma'rifah occurs, a damir is a type of ma'rifah. A damir is a type of? So if after a nakira a ma'rifah occurs, the tarkeeb will be mudaf and mudaf ilayh. Now, after it's been attributed, after it's made mudaf towards a ma'rifah, the nakira becomes? No. The nakira becomes ma'rifah in itself. The nakira then becomes a? Which type of ma'rifah? Mu'arraf bil idafa. Mu'arraf bil? Okay, what's mu'arraf bil idafa? Mu'arraf bil idafa is when a nakira word is made ma'rifah through being mudaf towards a ma'rifah. So for example, the word kitab, the word book, on its own is nakira, it can be referenced to any book. When I say kitabu Zaydin, Zayd's book, now has it become specific? Yes. Therefore now it's considered mu'arraf bil idafa. It's considered? So now it will fall into the category of ma'rifah. So after a ma'rifah, what's occurred? A nakira. And if after a ma'rifah a nakira occurs, the tarkeeb is mubtada and khabar. Okay, so how will we read this first? Who will answer? How will we read this? We'll just do one more example after this. We'll do one more example after this because of time. But then inshallah, next lesson we'll finish off on this with 2 or 3 examples, and then we move on to Jumla Fi'liya. Okay. So Sadiq, and then the Hadamir. How will we read this? Azim. Sadiquhu. Why not Sadiqunhu? You just read Sadiquhu. Why not Sadiqunhu? Other than it sounds weird. Other than it sounds weird. MashaAllah. The mudaf can never accept an alif lam no tanween. Mudaf can never accept. So kitabu Zaydin can never be kitabun Zaydin. Yes? The mudaf can never accept tanween no and alif lam. However, from the 12 types of ism mu'rab, what is Sadiq? Mufrad munsarif sahih, because Sadiq is singular and it doesn't have a harf illa in the end, and it's also munsarif. Okay, the word can accept tanween. If it wasn't a mudaf, it would have accepted tanween. So the word in itself is mufrad munsarif sahih. Sadiqu. Okay, now so you ready? Sadiquhu, but we know the mudaf ilay is always majroor. Remember this rule. Write this rule down. Mudaf ilay is always. What does majroor mean? It has kasra or kasratain. Alright, generally speaking, there's other symbols depending on which word it is. So here, does this have kasra? Does it have a zero or 2 0? No. But you're saying it's mudaf ilay. If it's mudaf ilay, which it is, because we've proven that a ma'rifah come after a nakira, or a damir was attached to an ism. However, you're still reading sadiquhu. You're not reading sadiquhi. Now, there's a problem. What's happening here? Sadiquhu, what's happening? Sorry? Damaira mabni. And this hadamir is mabni ala dhamm. Mabni ala dhamm. It will always have, this is a, sorry? Is mabni with dhamm. This damir will always remain like that. Right? There are other occasions where somebody might say, no, Rasulihi. Rasuli, we will discuss that later inshallah. So, if you carry on coming to the classes, these questions will also be answered. Alright? Okay, so Sadiquhu, this is Mabni ala Dam. This is Mabni ala Dam. But Rasulihi, then why does it come in that state? We'll cover that later. In which state is this damir? Number one, is damir, is it marfu, majroor or mansoob? It's majroor because it's mudaf ilayh. It's majroor because it's... So is damir majroor, is it attached or detached? If it's attached, it's muttasil. If it's detached, it's munfasil. But we know it's attached, so it's damir majroor muttasil. Right, we've covered that. So we have a ma'rifah and then we have a... So we already know what the tarkeeb will be. Why did you read it sadiqu? Why did you read it sadiqu? Answer please. Why did you read it sadiqu? Because it's mubtada, and mubtada is always marfu. Then how will we read fadil? Fadilun. Why fadilun? Because the nakira come after ma'rifah, so obviously mubtada khabar, and the khabar is always marfu as well. However, fadil is which siga? Ism file, and the ism file has what inside it? This ism file has a huwa damir marfu muttasil file within it, which is raji ila al-mubtada, which is returning back to the mubtada. The ism file with the file will become a shib jumla ismiya. The shib jumla ismiya will become khabar. Mubtada khabar, jumla ismiya khabariya. Right. How will we translate this? How do we translate mudaf and mudaf ilayh? We haven't done this. How do we translate mudaf and mudaf ilayh? Generally you can bring the term of in between, but this will be very literal. Book of Zaid, bike of Zaid, okay, door of house. Okay, we don't do that. Or you can just add an apostrophe as Zaid's bike, Zaid's book, right? This would make more sense. An apostrophe with an S. So Zaid's book, Zaid's bike. So you add an apostrophe S, or you can add off if you are very literal. However, in this case, you won't do that, okay? His friend. His friend. Because you don't say his friend, do you? You say his, because the hadamir means he. It means he or his in this case, because it's mudaf ilayh. His friend. So that's mubtada, and then how do we translate between the mubtada and khabar? Is his friend is an expert. His friend is an expert. Fadilun from the 12 types of ism murab, which one is it? Mufrad Munsarif Sahih. Right, we will continue inshallah due to the lack of time. Unfortunately, we started late today. We will continue on Wednesday. We'll complete the Jumla Ismiya and we can finally begin the Jumla Fi'liya inshallah ta'ala. Are there any questions in relation to this entire lesson? If you have questions, then ask now, because next lesson I don't want to have to repeat things. Clearly you can see somebody's asking a question, so why would you talk? The manners of the class remain. What's your question?
My question is that is it regardless of the verb being ma'rifah nakira, if it has damir, will be always
the damir is ma'rifah anyway. The damir is, that's a type of ma'rifah, isn't it? So I know I worded it as if a damir is attached to an ism, it's considered mudaf and mudaf ilayh. But in reality, the damir is a ma'rifah anyway, so it's nakira coming before a ma'rifah. So it's the same thing. Are there any other questions? Is there any question that anyone has? No? So this is completely in your mind. You need to go through the previous lessons. Everybody else, Daniel, you understood everything? So you could read that text, right? Yourself. And then that's fine.
Allahu, Allahu, Allah.